I am really honored to introduce Maggie Siddiqi, who is with the Muslim healthcare professionals. She is a colleague of ours who helped write the Faithful Budget. She knows the ins and outs of the Faithful Budget, and while she currently is a student, we were really glad to get her back to speak to us about Islam and the perspective on healthcare and why healthcare matters to the community. Thank you.
Thank you, Sister Simone. Thanks to Network and all who organized today. It's an honor to continue working with you all and to be here on behalf of American Muslim health professionals. The term faithful budget is a very appropriate one, I think, because we as Muslims feel that our faith informs the moral values that we'd like to see reflected in the way our tax dollars are used. And regardless of faith identity, members of Congress have an obligation to make choices with wisdom and with compassion. And we're here to remind them of the importance of those compassionate choices for all, and particularly for those in greatest need, who rely heavily on the government, sometimes without any other option, to provide the opportunity for upward mobility, the opportunity for a better situation. So I have a kind of personal anecdote. Some of you who saw me walk in may have noticed that I'm wearing an orthopedic boot on my foot. So I severely sprained my foot a little over a month ago, some minor fractures. Just walking down a set of stairs, nothing I could have really avoided. And I'm currently covered by an insurance plan that was made available to me only through the Affordable Care Act. I'm a full-time student, so is my husband. My seminary doesn't offer an insurance plan, and we both only work part-time jobs. And at a previous time, when I had looked for insurance for myself, I was denied due to pre-existing conditions. So the Affordable Care Act is really the only reason why I have insurance coverage today. And it saved me the over $10,000 that the hospital billed me. So I'm extremely grateful for the Affordable Care Act on a personal level, and also because it provides affordable options for many people across America, 16.4 million, many of which are in a worse economic situation than myself. So I'm very concerned about the news that we're hearing lately. I'm very concerned about the news today in particular, because I would be one of the many, many people in serious trouble if the Affordable Care Act is defunded. And so I see my nation as a large community of sorts, right? When we get sick in our local community, people come and they help us. And I have that same expectation of my national community as well, and of my responsibility in my national community to make sure that everyone is cared for when they're sick. There's a saying by the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, that believers and their mutual mercy, love, and compassion are like a single body. If one part of it feels pain, the rest of the body will join it in staying awake and suffering fever. Well, our entire country should be awake and in a fever right now, because there are a lot of people who are in pain. Some have still found their health care options to be unaffordable. Some do not have affordable housing. Some don't have affordable education. We have to be in a fever to set things right. And as fellow citizens, we have rights over one another. In the Quran, there's this language of having rights over one another, the various blessings in our lives. Our body has a right over us. Our families have a right over us. Anything that God has given us has a right over us for us to then treat it well. And the same extends to our communities. Our communities are a blessing in our lives. God reminds us in the Quran numerous times to spend our money in caring for those in need and for orphans, beginning with our families and our communities and extending beyond. And if how I spend my money is a reflection on my values as an individual, then surely the way we spend our money as a nation is a reflection on our values as a people. So just end by calling on our members of Congress to accurately reflect these values that we have as a people and to make compassionate choices in our federal budget. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maggie. I think that what you said about having a fever as a body touched me deeply, And we know that in our society, especially after last night and the violence in Baltimore, that there's much suffering in our society that we need to cry out about. And healthcare is a key piece of it. That the richest nation on earth is refusing or wishes to refuse to deny our people coverage. From a faith perspective, I don't know, it seems wrong to me. So I am really grateful for your word and for your support. Thank you.